We should be on. I think. Okay. Yeah, we should be on. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to start the stream by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakodash. The honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the Lord's elect, beginning with the 144,000. All right, we're a few brothers out of the Great Millstone GMS Atlanta camp. All right, back with another live stream or video through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, Lord willing, you be edified. All right, what you see the title of the video we have there is how to link the ancient needs to modern Russia and prophecy. All right, which was a question posed by one of the brothers in the camp. He asks, which we teach that he had Great Millstone from the apostles on down, that the Medes, you read in certain scriptures dealing with end time prophecy, where it mentions how the Lord's going to use the Medes, all right, in which we got the scripture on deck, Isaiah the 13th chapter. We teach that that's the Russians, but how do you really go into it and actually prove that? How do you go through the scriptures? How do you use history, current events? How do you actually link the two? All right, and we told the brother, just do a video. I told him in the message, but I said, hey, let's just do a lesson on it. All right, so yeah, all right. When you go into it, all right, the ancient Medes, which that was they were the that was Japheth back then, right? The Medo-Persian Empire. The Persians was Elam, or that was today they're known as the Persians or the Iranians, and then the Medes, that was Japheth. All right, when you read we'll get that as well in Daniel's the 7th chapter. But today, that alliance has been resurrected, if you will.
Yes.
But the Russians are playing the role of the Medes. All right, and we'll prove that in this video. Okay, there you got it.
We're going to start off with Isaiah 13. So this is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Right. So yeah, we use the scripture. This is one of the few scriptures we use to show, like, the Lord's going to use the Russians to come against America. Because when you read this chapter, it speaks about Babylon.
Yeah.
But when you read through it, it's not talking about ancient Babylon or the Babylon of old.
Right.
It's referring to North America.
Right.
All right. Because when you read down in that chapter, it tells you how Babylon, how the Lord, is going to be destroyed. It's like the Lord did Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. Where the Lord rained fire down. But then it says that the land's not going to be inhabited no more.
Right.
Now, modern day, ancient Babylon today, I believe, is in Iraq. The land region known as Iraq today. There's still people there. People, there's a civilization. People there. They got businesses. People walking around. So they can't be talking about ancient Babylon. It's the modern day Babylon, which is America. All right. You want to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And another way to prove that this is a prophecy as well is because it's coming out of the book of Isaiah. Isaiah started prophesying around like 745 BC. So when you do the time frame of like 745 BC, that was during about like the 4th or 5th king of the Assyrian Empire, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was like Tiglath-Pileser, if I'm not mistaken. And then he prophesied during the time of Hezekiah. And of course, during the time of Hezekiah, who was the king of the Assyrians then, Shalmaneser. So this is a clear prophecy that would be happening in the future. That Isaiah was prophesying during the time of the Assyrians. Now we got Jeremiah, who he came on the scene about like 625, 627-ish BC, which was during the time of the Babylonians. So yes, when you read a little bit of what Jeremiah was prophesying, it was to the actual Babylonians during that time. But you can't link it to what we're doing today.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
So Isaiah was during the time of the Assyrians, and he was mainly prophesying to Hezekiah. He wasn't prophesying about the Babylonians. He was telling Hezekiah about the Assyrians right now. You know what I'm saying? So this is a clear indication that, hold on, this is speaking about more of a future prophetic time.
That's right.
You know, want me to keep going or reread it?
Yeah, you can read it, or you know, we can go with whichever.
This is Isaiah 13:17. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it."
Yeah, so you're not going to be able to. So the Medes, or as we're going to show, is the Russians. All right, the Lord got this, going to have the spirit on them to just come against America and not care about any of your resources. You can't pay them off, you know, to try to, you know, stop them. Gold, silver, money, right? It says they'll have no regard for it. Go ahead.
It says, verse 18, it says, "Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces."
Right. Yep.
It says, "And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children."
Yep, that's right. Which the bows is going to the thermonuclear missiles. Yeah. You know, not the actual bows that they use in the ancient world, but you know, when you update the prophecy, so to speak, it's going into those missiles. Okay, like you read in Second Ezra's, was that either the 15th or 16th chapter, speaks about the arrow or the bow that shot, and it reaching from one end of the earth to the other, roughly paraphrasing. Those are the missiles. All right, they're not gonna have no pity. They don't care about no goddamn woman. They don't care about no goddamn kids. All right, they're gonna be dead set on coming against America. All right, now, also want to. That's the point. That was the point of that, right?
Yeah, the rest goes into destruction.
Okay. All right. So the first clue. Let's go to Daniel's 7.
Start at 5.
Yeah. I think that's the point, right? Yep. Because now you read, well, you know anything about Russia, all right, which you should see the thumbnail. All right, if YouTube didn't change it, we got the image of the bear, right? It's an image, an illustration of a I think it's a Kodak bear or a grizzly bear in front of the Russian flag, all right. And so Russia uses the bear as their symbol. See, all right. So that's another clue to that you can link the Medes with the Russians. Go ahead, you got it.
Khan, this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 5. It says, "And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise." Salakia. Oh, it's Salakia. "Arise, devour much flesh."
Yep. So this, that's it. Yep. So that this bear represents the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay, and the reason why it was raised on one side because, well, first it was the term is a diarchy, which is a joint rulership, right? The Medes and the Persians, they ruled together, but the Persians, they were the stronger of the two. So that's why it was said in the vision that Daniel saw that the bear was raised on one side. All right. So, and we know today that the Persians would be the Iranians today. So today, who is the world power, superpower that's in alliance with the Persians? It's the Russians. All right. So that alliance that we see, like I said, you know, back then the Medes that was Japheth, but now the Russians are playing in that role because now those ancient Persians, now they've aligned themselves with the Russians. Right? The Russians is that new superpower. Right. So now you can say that the bear really is tipped on the other side now. Now the Medes, all right, are the stronger of the two. Right? Russia's supplying, I think you brought out earlier, we was kind of, talking before the live, how basically the Russians are supplying, Iran with the S-400 missile defense system. We also got some information of ChatGPT, which gives the whole history on how when the Russian alliance, you was going into that also, how the Russia-Iranian alliance started. Yeah. At first they was at odds, but then progressing through the years, they just got stronger. You know?
You want to read a little bit off it?
Yeah. You got to bring it out,
man, because that's some good stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
So, so we'll just read. I'll just read a little bit. It says the alliance between Russia and Iran has evolved over centuries, just like the elder was saying. It says, but their modern strategic partnership began to take shape in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. So, if I may.
Yeah, you got it.
So, just off of that little snippet right there, the thing I want to point out is it says, but their modern strategic partnership began to take shape. It's talking about their modern partnership. So they've always kind of been allied with one another. And just like we was talking off camera, if you look it up, really, like the Iranian-Russian partnership kind of really started back in the 1500s. And then it got shaky in like the 1720s. When the Roman Empire had started to come about. They actually invaded. They had disputes across the Caucasus area and things of that nature. And they kind of like, whatever, but they got back good again. And we're reading some more in this chat GPT. It says key milestones in the Russian-Iranian relations. It says the Cold War era. Oh, first, let's read what the conclusion first, and then go back to those.
Yeah, you got it.
So it says the Russian-Iran alliance is not formally a formal treaty-based alliance like NATO, and that's another thing we were looking up. Like, dang, when were the BRICS nations formed, and who's in the BRICS nations? Sometimes you gotta like refresh yourself. That I is not Iran. The I is India. You know, and it says here that it's not a formal treaty based. You see what I'm saying? It was just like that's the homie from across the street. He cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the homie. It says but a pragmatic partnership built on shared opposition to the U.S. influence. So we were saying like any enemy of my enemy. Hold on. Yeah, is that how it goes? Is my friend?
Something like that.
So it's like, hold on. Yeah. Oh, you don't like the U.S. either? Nah. Yeah, I can fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's how it kind of is with Russia and Iran.
Yeah. Yep. And then you could tie what comes to mind is was that Ezekiel 38th chapter. It speaks about Gog and Magog, which that's Russia. That's another. If you want to prove that, that's another topic we're dealing with the Medes. But it mentions how they came with a great company in Persia. It lists them first. It said the Persians. You know, when we read that chapter, it's talking about basically them coming against not only America but also the land of Israel. It speaks about the city of unwalled villages and all of that. So, like it's saying, they've always had that alliance going. But it's a spirit behind that, because it really goes back to Daniel 7, right? The Medo-Persian Empire. But now, as we gotta make it concrete, the Russians, which are Edomites, they are playing that in that role. And which is spiritual, because we're currently in Esau's rulership, but it's going to be Edomites that's going to lead the charge and bringing this kingdom down. Right. Which that leads to Revelation 13.
Yep, got it.
Yep, because we mentioned about the bear. All right, how the Russians today use the bear as a symbol. How the Medo-Persian Empire, the Lord used the metaphor of the bear to describe that. So when you read Revelation 13, it's basically describing Esau, which is the so-called white man, and his his beast system. You got NATO, the EU. All right, you got the 7 heads, which is the 7 Edomite rulerships or kingdoms that he's had. All right, but when you read Revelation 13, 1 and 2, it's describing Esau's, like the beast, his system. It's almost giving you like the history of it. We're just going to tell you. It's going to say that it had, the head of the leopard and all of that. But we'll get into it. If you had something else. All right,
it says Revelation 13 and 2. It says, In the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Right. So the leopard, that's a reference back to the Greeks, also mentioned in Daniel 7 chapter. You keep reading down, it mentions how the next beast was like unto a leopard, which is the Greek Empire, which that was the first Edomite kingdom. Even though next was the Romans. All right. Go ahead.
It says in the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Yep.
And its feet were as the feet of a bear.
Right. The feet of a bear. So it mentions the bear here, which when you read certain scriptures, the feet of something represents the last or the end. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you read Daniel's the 2nd chapter, which is speaking about the same 4 kingdoms, but now it's speaking about it in the way of a statue. It's speaking about the end, how the stone came, right? The stone that was cut out the mountain, I think is worded, how it came to hit the feet of the statue, yeah. And the statue fell. Daniel 2. Yeah, Daniel's 2nd chapter. So the feet represents the end or the last. So why is the feet, all right, likened unto the feet of a bear? Why? Because the bear is what's going to end the system, which is the Russians. The Russians is what's going to be the end of Esau's system. Okay, because Russia's not a part of NATO. All right, NATO was created because of the Soviet Union and the USSR to try to, balance the power. So the Russians is going to lead the charge in bringing down the beast system. So that's why it's telling you that the feet of it was the feet of a bear. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
It says in his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
Right, which is, I believe is Great Britain. Go ahead.
It says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
Right, which the dragon is the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is what drives this system, because this system is really the Roman Empire masquerading, all right, as America and NATO and the EU. It's really just the Roman Empire, right? Like you ever see those people that go to those masquerade parties that got the little funny looking mask on, right? Mm-hmm. Or just Halloween, somebody dress up as Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger, but underneath you like that's fucking Tyrone from down the street. You ain't fooling nobody. You try to be, that's this beast system. It's really the Roman Empire, but it got the mask of America and the U.S. Senate and the NATO. Ain't nothing but goddamn Rome. But the end of it is gonna come by the Russians. All right? The bear. So that's another way to link it.
Yep.
Okay. You got it.
If I may say just a little history, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got it.
So it's Revelation 13:2 again. It says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard." Of course, like we were saying, like those are the Greeks, or you say Alexander. Mm-hmm. When you go into can I get Maccabee 1?
Oh yeah, you got it, bro. You got it.
This is
whatever you got.
Let's see, the first Maccabee.
You get it.
First Maccabee 1:1, and it says, "And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, and smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece." Now, just because sometimes you wonder what happens after, or a big time rulership goes down. Okay, what happened to them after? Where are they now? What are they doing? You know what I'm saying? We were speaking off camera too, because I was saying this kind of seems like the same thing in the spirit of what the Egyptians and the Assyrians were trying to do. Like when you go back and read 2 Chronicles 34, 35, and 36, especially chapter 35 and 36, what two nations were trying to come against the Babylonians or the Chaldeans during that time? It was the Egyptians and the Assyrians. Now we know how high up on a pedestal the Egyptians used to be. We understand because, in the book of Exodus, what happened during their downfall. We get a good blunt of the rise and the power of Egypt towards like the end of the book of Genesis, going into Exodus, and then we get the fall of them in the Exodus, and then we get the rise and whatever and the downfall of the power of the Assyrians. So this is the downfall of the Persians and the Medes in this. So what happened to the Medes throughout history? And when you do your research on First Maccabees 1:1, what I just read, how Alexander, that leopard, took down the Persians and the Medes kind of trickled into the Seleucid Empire. So they still had a little bit of life left. Just like the Egyptians and the Assyrians still had a little bit of life left to come back and fight against the Babylonians in 2 Chronicles, the 36th chapter. We're seeing it again. Just like we read about in Jeremiah 51, when it talks about Babylon should be healed. Or, you know, pretty much the Roman Empire had a little bit of life left.
Right.
And then they came back to what we see today. Well, guess what? The Medes had that bit of life, and we see them as the Russians today. But how did they keep that little bit of life? They trickled into the Seleucid Empire, you know, made cities like Ecbatane and things of that nature. Go into this history. That's how they stayed alive. That's when they went into when the four kings of Alexander, you know, split. Their lifeline was the Seleucid Empire. Okay, we'll just feed off of this and just stay until we can get strong again. And now we're seeing the pinnacle of the Mede strength again now. All right, because they were never this strong before.
Right.
In history, now it's their time to be strong. You know, that's just a little bit of history on that of how the Medes were never taken out. You know, you got people like Vocab be like, the Edomites.
right, exactly.
Like, no, man, they're still here, you know, and they're in full force.
That's right.
The Medes are still here, and they're in full force right now. You know?
That's right.
Do you want me to go to
yeah.
Ezekiel or...
Yeah. You go to Ezekiel. Yep. Because that's how, that's heavy. When you look at the history, everything, it lines up. Everything, the spirit of it is brought back in the earth, man. You know, the Medes, the Persians, all right? How they was, you know, came together to take down certain nations in the past. Now it's the same thing, you know, basically coming back. You got America, which is the current world superpower, you know, which is a topic for another day. But now you got the Medes and the Persians coming back to basically, like you said, to take down Babylon all over again. You know, and that's also we referenced Daniel 7th chapter. We spoke about the bear. Babylon was one of the teeth. One of the ribs in the mouth of in the bear's mouth. Right, Scripture speaks about it had 3 ribs in his mouth. Babylon, Egypt, and Lydia. So Babylon got taken down by the Medo-Persians. Now this time they're going to take it down again, but the Medo-Persians not going to rule again. You know that the Daniel's dream is not going to repeat itself.
Right.
You know, after America and after Esau system is destroyed, that's when we going to rule. You know, the Lord going to raise the nation of Israel. All right. So you got whatever you got.
This is I'm just gonna, because we mentioned already. This is Ezekiel 38 and 1. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." And you know, that's another heavy thing. Magog, when you go into that table of nations that we have, the 18 nations, they're listed. Magog is listed on one of those 18 nations, and it's listed as Russia. I remember that when I was first coming up.
It's Russia. Yep, that's right.
You know, it says, so this is one of the 18 nations. So they got to come back.
They got to come back.
All these nations are back. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. You know, going, correct me if I'm wrong, like going back into that Soviet mind frame.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, it says, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
Yep. Now, that's them getting ready for war. Like the Lord said, like you started out with, Isaiah 13. So I will stir up the Medes against them. It shall be bold, shall dash the young men to pieces and all that. That's what that's going into. But yeah, you got it.
Yeah, and it's like the bucklers and shields, just like we're mentioning those S-400 missile systems that have been given to verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. Like all those things they're saying, and that goes back to Revelation 20:8. Oh, do we read that?
Not yet. No,
we
ain't read that yet. Oh.
You know, but I guess it's in there. It says it shall gather Gog and Magog to gather them together, and that's what's happening right now. The gathering. It says verse 5. It says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Right, he's shielding them. All right, the Medes. It used to be the Persians and the Medes. Yeah. Now, man, are like the Persians on top, and the Medes are just there. And now it's the Medes and the Persians are just there. It says Gomer, just like Turkey, and all his bands in the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands and many people with thee. I'm gonna stop right there. But that goes to show you first, you really prove this. This is the geography to prove where Russia is and who they are, because we understand where Gog and Magog was located. But now we can further on to a deeper understanding that, okay, now who are they as, like, these people? Yeah, the Medes, people.
Right.
Yeah. Because in verse 5, it clearly says they're linking with Persia.
They're linking with Persia. Yeah, which we know is modern day Iran. So when you look at at as far as end time prophecy, who's Iran, partner with, to where they're being supplied or they're being, guarded by? Because I think you read down, it says that it says for Gog and Magog to be a guard unto them. So you look at today, who's like a guardian or like a big brother figure, for lack of a better way of putting it, to Iran is Russia.
Right.
See? So you gotta look at it as it's like that Medo-Persian Empire pact, being resurrected, but the Lord is using those Russians to fill that role.
Right.
Because the Lord's gonna use Edomites to basically lead the downfall of Esau.
Yeah.
Like we just read in Revelation 13, the feet of it is like the feet of a bear. That's a very important key. The feet is the end, the last. So I was going to use other Edomites to bring down the Edomites.
The Edomites.
And
it really, that goes into the next chapter over.
Ezekiel
39.
Ezekiel 39,
Because it talks about the destruction of Gog's army. Gog.
Yeah.
G-O-G, I didn't say.
Yeah.
It talks about the destruction. Let me say this. In modern time, it talks about the destruction of the Russian army.
Yeah.
And another way you can prove, Gog and Magog or them, you go to verse 15 in Ezekiel 38. It talks about the northern parts. And that's where Russia is, in the northern parts, so that you really got to break down, like, in characteristic term, how Russia is the Medes, because when you look at what we were saying in ancient Medes, their geography ain't the geography of the Russians today.
Right.
So you have to link it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's understandable.
That's true. Because at one point I used to think that the ancient Median or Mede Empire was the same as Russia. We look on it like Kash Kwala said, you look at the map, really Russia is more north. Look at the map. We can't pull up, but you look at the map, Russia's more north, and then what scholars say the ancient Median Empire was more south. But when you go to what you said, when you get Ezekiel 38, Gog and Magog, it's accurate there. That's Russia. So you could prove through the geography that Gog and Magog is Russia. You go through do the different names and all that, link it up. You got Iran there, but then it's like they all like come together because it mentions the bear when you deal with the Medes and the Persians, and then today the Russians use the bear, but then they're in alliance with the Persians. It's like it all connects.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but yeah, as far as we deal with the maps, you can only link Russia and Gog and Magog, Ezekiel 38. When it comes to the Medes, you got to deal with the alliance of who Iran is in alliance with today. That's a superpower. You know, like we just read in ChatGPT, how they have a common interest to basically be against America. You know.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense. Like who are these Medes that the Lord is constantly talking about stirring up?
If I bring something out, because it as carnal as they are, the Russians, Iran, whatever.
Right.
And we're here to bring you a spiritual aspect of it, to understand that reincarnation happens with nations.
Yep.
You know, so I want to bring this out if you don't mind.
Oh, you got it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 in 16. It says, there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them.
Yep.
Right. Weren't the Persians and Medes before Iran and Russia? Mm-hmm. It says there's no end to the people. So therefore, do you think they're still here today? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It may have a modern name tag to it.
Yep.
But their characteristics are exactly the same. Mm-hmm. How they move, how they act. It just may be a little bit modern, but they're back. So again, Ecclesiastes 4 and 16 says, there's no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also have come after, shall not rejoice in him. It says, surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. Yeah, it's vexing these niggas back, real talk. You know, but it's all part of the prophecy for the benefit that they're gonna do for prophecy. And I'll get one more precept.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it. I had some too.
Proverbs 16 and I'll do it. Proverbs 16 and 4. It says, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. Now, you know, the wicked, that goes into the word perverse, which goes into the word perverted. All right. Hey, look, Gog, Magog, Persian, Medes, Iran, Russia, they're all perverted or perverse according to the scripts, which, again, perverse just means wicked. The Lord created them for the day of evil. So they have their part in this play, for say. That's right. You know, even though it is vexation of spirit that they're, that they're them.
They back, right. You know, but they gotta play their role.
But they play their role as the Lord intended it. You know? That's all I have.
Kind of, I got something real quick that you can apply to this. That is going back to the Babylonian kingdom, right? It's Daniel 5. And I'll just jump down to the point. Daniel 5 and 24. And it says, then was the part of the hand sent from him with this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many tekel upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many. God of the Most High have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Right? And we know this is referring to ancient Babylon. But you see, but we know it applies today, right? To modern day Babylon, right? It says, verse 27, tekel, thou art weighed in a balance and art found wanting, all right? Which means to be lack or not sufficient, all right? Verse 28, it says, Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. See, so we know, of course, the history, the Medes and Persians took down Babylon. So modern day Babylon, again, we know who the Persians are. Clearly, that's not even a mystery. Oh, yeah, Persia, that's Iran. So when we look at it from an updated standpoint, if the Lord is saying that kingdom is divided and given to the hands of the Medes and the Persians, who would fill the slot of the Medes today. That's again, that's in alliance with Iran.
Right.
It had to be Russia. You know, and the fact that again it uses the, you know, we keep mentioning it, but it uses the bear as their symbol, and the Russians use the symbol.
Yep.
Nobody else fits that slot, so to speak.
Right.
All right.
Yep. It can't be China.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
It can't be. Yeah.
It can't be China.
Moab. Yeah. China. Or exactly.
It's just like, you know, in the group chat, like China was popping hot smoke. Oh, this is gonna be the end. You know, we're gonna take them. Y'all aren't gonna be the ones to do that.
Oh yeah, I remember that in the article.
About
Yeah,
how
they
y'all
talking
liars.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, but it's gonna be the Russian. Like, really, I'm gonna say this, man. America really ain't worried about China, man.
Right. It ain't really.
There's always talks between Russia and Iran when it comes to U.S. Those are their main threats. You know.
That's it. Yep.
Man, that goes.
Yeah, that goes. Yeah. So the Medes and the Persians, they play a pivotal role in the downfall of Babylon. Yep. Right? They did in the past, like you said. Like, you know, these nations get reincarnated, wars get reincarnated, so to speak. Right? They played a role in basically bringing down Babylon old. Now they back again. Okay, to bring down the new modern day Babylon, but you know, the Persians is not in alliance with Jap. You don't even hear about Japheth. Where's Japheth at? You know, like the actual ancient Medes, they even like, damn, where they at?
Yeah.
It's the Russians. The Russians is playing that role now.
Yeah.
You know, and you have everybody else that's gonna, well, listen, Ezekiel 38.
Yeah.
All them, some of the Hamite nations. You know, everybody's gonna band together to come against America, man.
Yep.
You know, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
something else.
Nah, that's all I had.
Yeah, so that was pretty much it. I mean, it could be a longer. Well, we did pretty good time, but we just wanted to focus on the Medes part, because we can get more deep to the Gog and Magog and all of that. But we just wanted to show how to link the Medes to the Russians, you know, in this particular video. We brought some history, you know, brought some scriptures and everything like that. So, you know, if we had anything else, all right, Lord willing, we're going to sign off. Lord willing, you was edified by this video. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Hakodash. Double to the apostles, great millstone. Shalom to the Lord's elect, beginning with 144,000. Lord willing, to the next video, we're going to say Shalom.
Shalom.